Howdy, y'alls. It's me, Dr. Edwards, your instructor for this course. And I just wanted to put together a quick little video to give you a nice overview of your first week's readings, which are focused on contemporary anthropological problems, right? It's the title of our course. So, kind of looking at these, we got some major things. We live in a society that's faced with severe issues of global warming, resource depletion, ecosystem degradation, and we have poverty and conflict on the increase. And all of these really kind of underscore that they're issues of scale, all right? We used to live in small tribal bands, right? Maybe 30 to 50 people, small, relatively insulated groups. And as you can read from our readings, as time has gone on, we've evolved and changed our adaptive strategies. We used to be hunter-gatherers in small band-type societies. Now we're all specialists living in a state-type society, right? And with that, we've increased population and the density of population in urban centers, which confounds and complicates these growing issues that we have. I mean, starting back in the Industrial Revolution, we really have what we call the Anthropocene, this era where people are readily modifying their environments to suit their individual needs. And usually that has to do with this notion of progress, that that we're oriented towards increasing bureaucracy and filling the pockets of the elite, right? It's what a lot of our reading gets down to, that we have this elite-directed growth. Well, as you can understand, that this presents a major issue for the entire world, regardless of where you live. You can feel the impacts in the deepest, darkest jungle in Africa to New York City, right? So we have to keep in mind that these are cultural products, right? That we have learned to do this, and that those lessons get passed down over generations through the process of enculturation, right? Now, our book talks about the original affluent society, which is a great little bit in there. You might not think it, but old or traditional band-type societies, hunter-gatherers, think about the Kung San, the Bushmen of the Kalahari. These folks, when you look at them, you think that they have a really hard life. But there's actually been research done that reveals they have more free time than we can ever dream of, right? And so we refer to them as the original affluent society as a result, because that affluence is reflected in the freedom that they had. Now, look at us today. We don't have that. Our lives are literally directed by time, right? So much time for work, so much time for family, yada yada. Right, so you can see that we've had a real kind of shift in how we culturally adapt to these situations. Prehistorically, band-type societies, when they grew too big, they would divide and create new groups. Well, with the advent of agriculture and the Industrial Revolution, people came to live more and more in dense urban centers, which required a greater reliance on rural areas to produce the food to feed these growing populations. Today, we see much of this change directed through politicalization and commercialization. It's a global process. We're not talking about small-scale societies anymore. We're talking about global-scale societies. And as a result, the problems that we face, lack of fossil fuels, they're soon to run out, yet we've expanded exploration of those things because we have a greater demand for them than ever before from these increased population over time. Now, all these sorts of ideas, these problems, these issues were really well presented in the World Scientist's Warning to Humanity in 1992. Okay, there's a good little bit of there in our text about that. And What it really gets down to is that we have unsustainable resource use coupled with increasing population. And, do the math. Increasing population and increasing resource use will not work. Okay. And this really gets down to that we require a socio-cultural response to address these issues, right? We have to change people's way of thinking about resource use to affect a change in it. And there's a good part in our text about the Millennium Development Goals that really kind of starts to focus on that. So, well, I'm not going to go off and explain everything in great depth in these little videos because, frankly, I don't have the time to. My goal is just to kind of give you a quick kind of get you oriented towards the reading so you can better understand and digest them. So that's where I'll leave this. And of course, if you have any questions, any concerns at all about anything, you just give me a call, email me, post questions to the general questions forum, and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. And I stress that because I know how waiting for an answer to a question can be an annoyance. So I've been where you all are, and I guarantee I'll get back to you as soon as I can about any of your questions. Looking forward to a great term with you all, and don't skimp on the reading. Make sure that you're engaged and participating in our weekly discussions because those are points that you don't want to lose. Alrighty. So I'll catch you next time for Module 2, and you all have a great week. Take care.